Welcome to the Quadcast, hosted by myself, Max Fewtrell, and motorsport enthusiast, content creator, and new member of the Quadrant Family, Izzy Hammond.
We'll be joined by a variety of talent from the world of motorsport, telling their stories on how they made their mark. Welcome to the Quadcast.
Right, Izzy, how are you? Day one as Quadrant Family member. How are you liking our this will be our new home now.
I know, I'm really excited. I feel like the new kid at school, but you guys have been very lovely, very welcoming.
Glad they have.
This is our studio. This is where we're going to be set for our brand new podcast. We've got some interesting stuff around us that kind of tells the story of Quadrant, I guess. We've got all the athlete stuff. Yeah. Have you got some stuff in here?
No, they said my helmet wasn't cool enough, so it didn't get added in.
Nothing of mine in here, but that's fine. It's not really about us.
No, this is our journey, this Quadrant's journey so far, and I think we'll be able to add to this kind of set as we go on, and we get some amazing guests on, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to talk to anyone and everyone around motorsport, but today it's all about us, Max.
It is.
We can say what we want today.
Thanks to our friends at Revolut. If you're in the UK, US or Australia and haven't signed up, you can get £20, $20 or 40 Australian dollars just by signing up with the link below or scanning the QR code on screen and making your first transaction. If you didn't know, Revolut is used by over 55 million people worldwide, helping you manage and make the most of every aspect of your finances. Revolut makes currency exchange very easy. You can spend in lots of different currencies and exchange at great rates. Even if you've got to exchange in-app, Revolut automatically converts your home currency to the local one. You can even view live rates in the app, so there are no surprises. And it's got useful security features to protect your money even while you're abroad. Say you lose your card or are worried someone has your details, you can freeze the card in-app in seconds, order a new one straight away and use the virtual cards while you wait for the new one. You can check out Revolut in the description below. As you're the new Quadrant family member, the community is obviously going to be seeing a lot more of you, so we need to know a bit more about you.
Yes, which I find a bit scary. I'm okay with hosting stuff, answering the questions a little bit more terrifying. So I'm going to keep it very brief. Okay. I'm Izzy. I like cars. I do stuff with cars. That's pretty much it. And I think I'm quite lucky because I feel like I get to ask the stupid questions.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of going into it in a way that's very open-minded, and I will talk about anything. I will ask anything that I think a lot of the times people feel like they can't ask, because I think it's a big stigma in the car world generally. You're meant to know everything. Whether that's Formula One or like how an engine works. And
I feel that. Because
if you don't, it's...
I used to race and then everyone's like, oh, you must know everything about cars. It's like, no, I don't. The car communities, and like if you don't know, you know, it's
savage.
That pressure. So
yeah, and I also think like
that.
There's so many different sides of the car world. There's little niches and cliques within them. And I think what's going to be quite fun for us is talking about the motorsport world, which is a sort of part of the car world within itself that I'm just getting into and I'm just learning, and where I think I could learn a lot from you as someone that's very much in the motorsport world. It's going to be really interesting for me.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So you mentioned obviously you love cars, and I've heard you like car modding as well.
I do. I am into car. Well, I like a little bit of everything, so I'm interested in all the little bits and bobs, but car modding is something new for me and I love it. Yeah. Like the thought of having a car that is completely individual. Like no one else has the same thing as you.
Have you done something to your own car?
Yeah.
What have you done? Come on, are you going to share with us?
No, so I have an A35, which everyone's going to tell me I should have bought an A45.
You would, didn't you?
Yeah, it's really expensive. Let's not talk about it, Max. It's also on finance, so I shouldn't have done any of the mods that I did, but it's fine. So it's an A35. I've done some fun stuff to it. A little bit of engine things.
That's what it's all about.
And then I'm going to build it from... But I also love the Japanese stuff. Really cool.
We were up in Japan earlier this year, and the stuff out there is
nuts.
It's like a whole new world to me.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to ask questions because it was just so overwhelming.
Yeah. But
I don't know, but this is all awesome.
Yeah. But it's like when cars come out the factory, they are so much more capable than the way they come out. There's so much you can do to them. Yeah. And that is a bit of me. I love that stuff. Are you a car modding person? I feel like...
I mean, again, it goes back to... Everyone's like, oh, you race, you must know everything about cars. I don't. Like, I love cars, older cars, but again, my knowledge is very limited, so I'm almost scared to speak about cars because it's like, this guy's clueless. Like, what's he on about?
Yeah, because this is something I wanted to ask you. what would you describe your job now? Who are you now? Because you raced for most of your life.
Yeah.
And now you're not racing anymore, but you still have the love for it.
It's a weird one. It's something I've definitely battled with since I stopped. I had sort of an identity crisis, you want to call it, or whatever. I started racing when I was 9 and then did that up until I was 21. So it was kind of my whole upbringing was being a racing driver. And then when I stopped, I was like,
what do I do now?
What am I now? I'm not a racing driver anymore. That's when the opportunity with Quadrant came along, and we can go into that, my journey. But yeah, content creator now, exploring the world of motorsport, and I'm still luckily attached to motorsport in a way through obviously Lando. I get to go to the races and be quite involved and see behind the scenes there. So I get that itch scratch sort of still being around motorsport a lot. I think I'd struggle a lot more if I wasn't around racing still, because I still deeply love it, but it's not necessarily something I can just go and jump and do again.
Do you think that's difficult though? Because having to basically make that decision, age 8, 9, this is what I want to do, and then put everything into it. Because it's full commit. Like, you can't go in like half-footed. You have to go for it completely, don't you?
Yeah. Actually, a lot of sports in general, obviously, you know, all the top guys who make it and end up having great success, they all found their sport or loved it from a super young age. So I think almost that's quite common, but it is a big commitment, and my whole life changed. I stopped going to school when I was like 13, started doing homeschooling.
Whoa.
Moved back from Singapore when I was 11, so almost went back to Europe straight away just because that's where the high level stuff was, and I had to start doing that straight away to have any chance. So yeah, it was my whole life became racing. Obviously I had all my school friends in Singapore, lost connection with all of them, and yeah, it's tough. It's your whole life. Every week you're thinking about racing, and that's what it was like from 9 years old till 21. It was just this sort of obsession almost.
Because at what point do you think it turns from, or does it ever turn from your life to a job? Because I look at the sort of, you know, the top level drivers in F1 now, and I'm thinking, are they at the point, maybe the older ones, are they thinking this is what I do for a living, or this is still who I am to my core age? I don't know, Fernando's age. Still thinking this is my entire life now? Or do you think at some point it just becomes how you pay your bills?
That's a tough one, because I'd never made it to F1, so I only felt a sort of portion of it. I think when I got to F3, I did feel a shift in how much I enjoyed racing, and when the pressure started to pile on. Like, go-karting's super fun. You still get told every now and then, right, you've got to take this a bit more serious and perform and do... You're aware you need to get good results, but it was still fun, you know? You enjoyed it. You had all your friends at the track, and it was a good laugh.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're a kid as well.
Yeah, we're 13, 14. Yeah. We all look back at go-karting now, and it's like, those were the best times. But if I look back to F3, F4, that's when it slowly shifted. I didn't enjoy it as much, just because I think F3 is a funny moment in a driver's career where you start to get quite close to F1, but you're still really far, and you have all the pressures of sponsors, and it almost feels like life or death. Like, I need to make it, otherwise I don't know what I'm going to do. And that's how I felt when I was racing F3. It was like, I don't know what I'm going to do outside of racing, so I've committed everything to it.
And then you got to a point where it wasn't worth it anymore.
Yeah, I stopped halfway through the F3 season in 2020, just because, I mean, I went into that year needing to be champion, to keep the sponsors, and that was the goal. It didn't work out. Just struggled with the team and the performance of the car, and probably myself. I could have done things better. Yeah, it just didn't work out. And then I was planning to go into F2 the next year and carry on racing, but that didn't end up happening. So that's where it all sort of stopped, and it can stop really fast.
Yeah.
I didn't plan to retire from racing, let's say, but it did end up being the case. So it was
and mentally,
tough.
like, that is a big hit. And how old were you then?
So I was 20, 21 at this point. So even then I was feeling the pressure of I'm getting too old.
Crazy.
As well at 20.
I find that so mad about motorsport.
Just the pressure was like more and more and more. And then
so you stop racing, And then at what point do you say, okay, what next? Because there's lots of other ways to go racing.
Yeah, for sure. I think I remember having meetings about looking into GTs, Formula E. There was options out there, but I was still kind of set on Formula One, and we were looking at F2. But then at that point, even stopping midway through, all the seats are gone for the year after. So then F2 wasn't an option. And then, I just kind of had 3 months where I didn't think about racing. I didn't want to. I was like, let's just separate myself just for a little bit. And then Quadrant came along. So then I didn't really look back to racing because I saw quite a big opportunity here. And it was something I was enjoying doing. And I sort of, not to sound really deep, but I felt happy again, like a bit more positive about life instead of being in this zone of just racing. If you don't make F1, you're a failure, life's over. That's how I was thinking.
And I guess
before.
maybe a little bit more freedom, like you could take hold of your own life, because in a way you've been told what to do since you're like 9, 10, because you have to do this to get there, to get there, to get there. Whereas now I guess it's a bit like you can kind of take the reins back a little bit. Yeah,
I felt relief, happiness again, like you said. It was just a big combination of things that I felt, and then I didn't end up going back to racing. I think the first year I started with Quadrant, there was always that, still looking for opportunities, and then it just, racing slowly fizzled out as an option for me.
So then we should talk about Lando. You've known Lando for a very long time. You raced together when you were younger. At what point was the split? At what point did he sort of go full in and then you stopped? How did that then feel? Did your relationship strain at any point? Did he say to you, no, you should keep going? Did you ask him for advice at that point?
I think we were good. We were really close in karting. When we were 12, 13, we got along really well in the team. And then he went to cars a year earlier than me. He did Ginetta, then F4. He won British F4 2015. Then I won it in the exact same car the year after in 2016. But then when we both got single-seaters, we weren't as close, I think, because we were just so focused on our own careers. We didn't have time we'd see each other at tracks every now and then, but it wasn't crazy. And then once the opportunity with Quadrant came along, that's when we became a lot closer once again. Not that we never were, but it was tough. We were just so focused on our own paths. And then, no, I didn't really reach out to him for advice. I think it was just my own decision. There was not much anyone else could have really said to me at that point.
And I feel like would you say that motorsport, okay, it's very much a team effort to get a car on track and around the track, but I feel like it's very solo once you're in that car, and the way you have to think about your movements are very individual.
It is a team game for sure, but it's also, I think the most important team in racing is yourself and your managers and your family or people around you, because you jump from team to team and that varies. It's okay, F1's different. You join, like Lando's been with McLaren many years now. That's a solid team around him that he's comfortable with. But when you're in the junior categories, you just spend 1 year with the team and move on. Yes, of course, you bond with the guys and you become a close unit. But throughout your career, you always have the same team of your managers and the people around you. So that's the most important team.
Do you think it can be lonely, though?
I found it lonely, yeah. Especially when you have a bad day. And your family's not there or whatever, and you go back to the hotel room and it's just you. And
I guess hard to find people that get it, especially when you're like 19, 20.
Yeah.
To speak to other 19, 20-year-olds, they're just not gonna get it.
No, I think I was lucky in the sense that a lot of my close friends now, well, pretty much all of them, are drivers as well. Yeah. So I was able to talk to them, and even drivers I was racing against, I was really close with. So I was always able to talk to other guys that get it.
Yeah, because this is something I'm excited to talk about with the guests that we're going to have, is how the different worlds of motorsports interact. And like some of the guys we're going to speak to are super young, like teenagers, like babies.
Yeah.
And whether they have that network around them in whatever sport they do. Yeah. And how important that is to them. Because like, I don't think it's healthy for them to tackle these things alone at that age.
No, it's definitely not. It was hard. It was hard. And then, I always look back and like, if I could redo it now with obviously the knowledge, everyone would probably say it, but...
Yeah, would you change anything if you could go back now?
There's probably a lot of change, but I try not think about all this, and I don't want to be that salty ex-driver that blames everything but himself. There's definitely hundreds of things I could have done better, but then there's also a few choices, either team-wise or series that I picked or whatever, that I think about quite a bit.
Yeah, but like you said, it's you've had that experience, and it's because I did some research about you, Max. I did do some reading,
Okay.
and you did do some Formula One testing. You've driven a Formula One car before.
Yeah.
Even to have that experience is nuts.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to say you've done that.
I think I was actually really glad that I was able to do that.
Yeah.
Like mentally to tick that off. That I did something, you know.
It's small
Didn't get to
something.
F1, but I was able to test, and I didn't do too bad. So I look back on my racing positive, and it was an amazing journey. I can't look back, otherwise I just wouldn't sleep at night thinking, I should have joined this team at this point.
You've done that corner slightly differently.
Because F3 and F2 is such a fragile part of a driver's career, where you just join the right team, you have a good 6 races. It's not many races in the year, and you can either be going to F1, you get a lucky break, or you don't drive again. So,
but then I guess it's opened you up now so that you have that chapter of your life, and then you can go on to the next. Whereas a lot of drivers, their career is just driving, and okay, they can be the best in the world, but for you can open doors to new things, like something like Quadrant.
Exactly.
And actually, I think I hope we're going to be able to do is create our own little community of drivers, of people that love drivers, of people that love athletes, and also maybe like, I'd love to speak to, managers of athletes. That'd be so interesting.
The negotiations,
like deal with those personalities and how they work, and trainers and all of that. I think there's so much more to it than just the drivers. They're just one cog in a big machine.
I look back on it with positivity now, and it was just an awesome journey and experience, something I'm so lucky to have experienced, because I know there's a lot of young drivers out there that do karting and then they can't go any further than that. So I was lucky to be able to reach the heights of F3, get to test F1 cars, have so many cool opportunities. And then I think I feel even luckier now with the position I'm in that Quadrant came along. And I started doing it because Lando, he knew I wasn't doing anything at the time, and so I'd just come and do a few YouTube videos with me. I just started this thing, Quadrant, and it'd be nice to have a mate on there and have a laugh. That's literally how it started. I didn't have any expectations to be heavily involved. I just joined for a couple of YouTube videos, and it was at the time we were living together, and it just slowly snowballed from there, and I really saw an opportunity. And I think the key thing for me with Quadrant, it gave me a purpose again, of something to chase, something to work on. And that's been the biggest blessing with Quadrant, I think, for me.
And I guess something to create as well.
Yeah.
Like I think with a lot of athletes, their lives have to be their sport, and maybe they don't have that space to do stuff on the side. Lando's lucky he's got this. He's got us doing this for him while he's just flying around the world. So to have that outlet, I think, is quite important. And I guess really good for your brain.
100%. I was losing my mind the first kind of 3 months of not doing anything. It's not healthy to live like that. So every day I'd either be thinking about the next race, training, or go see the team for data. There was always something I need to look forward to, build towards, work on. And now I have that same feeling with Quadrant, which is massive for me. It's been an absolute blessing to be able to do this.
And also, I guess it's nice because you're able to work with Lando, but in a very different way. Because I'm wondering whether you ever get bored of being asked about Lando and your connection to him, when actually it's your mates, that's fine, but what you do is very different.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I ever get bored of it. I'm very aware of he's given me such a great opportunity, and I'm really grateful for the position I'm in now, and heavily because of him. So I'll never be bored of people asking me. It's just part of it now. So I don't necessarily feel like I'm in his shadows or whatnot. I just feel like he's brought me along, and we're building something together, and we're just close friends as normal, away from him being an F1 driver, which was quite strange to see how it's progressed.
I bet that is weird.
Just hanging out normally before, and then now if we go for lunch in London or something, it's just, you can't.
No.
which is
Because
definitely
I
weird.
guess F1 driver now just is celebrity. Like the two are synonymous with each other.
He is. He can't just walk around now. It's really weird.
Which is strange, because I think motorsport is like the opposite of celebrity. Like the day to day is so not glitz and glamour. Like I'm not in motorsport, but I know a lot of people that are, and I've been around it a lot, and that is not glamorous.
No, it's a grind. For
like
sure.
go to Silverstone on a Grand Prix day. It's not
the rainy test days and all of that. It's tough.
It's messy and loud and gross.
Once F1's a bit better, I think you get looked after as a driver for sure in F1. You know, someone's holding the umbrella for you, but the whole journey to get there is not glitz and glamour.
But I also think that's the heart of it, though.
Yeah.
Like that's the heart of motorsport, and actually, it's going to be interesting talking to the different people on where they think the heart is in their sport, and whether, because you could argue that F1 is losing its heart at the moment, the way it's going. It's just getting bigger and bigger, and it's whether the heart of it is kind of being left behind a little bit. When you look at Silverstone, it's not really about the racing anymore. It's about who's there.
Almost, yeah, I get your point. And you can almost see it with F2 as well. Even the F2 drivers are starting to get a lot more popular. And like before, that was just never the case. Even like when I was in F3, there was no attention. It was just like, go out there and do your job.
It's such a catch-22, because you need the attention because you need the sponsors.
You need the sponsors. So it's finding that balance. Yeah, for sure. But it's an interesting point.
But I think even that, like getting to the heart of why, like there's so many athletes now that do social media and they do lots of stuff around their sport, and you have people questioning, well, why they're doing that, why they're not focusing on the sport. Actually, to hear from them and understand that route, and actually it's really important that they do all of that alongside. And
I think Lando was kind of one of the first drivers to really open up. Like F1 before, say, Netflix was, the drivers were really inaccessible, really. If you went to a race weekend, you'd probably only ever see them with their helmet on, driving past you at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I think Netflix, people have a lot to say about it. I think it's done good for the sport. It's brought a lot of fans in and made the drivers more accessible. But I think Lando really kicked off that personal side when he started doing the live streaming and all of his social medias with his vlogs and whatnot, especially the live streaming. And then now Quadrant he started off doing gaming videos at home, which no other driver was doing. So he was definitely one of the first to really open up his personal side to the general public, which no driver's done before, really.
And then create that community, like the Quadrant community off the back
Exactly, and that's now what we're building on, which is super exciting.
And I'm really excited. And to share with, I'm excited to speak to the athletes and understand their journeys and their stories and how we can relate. Me trying to relate to an athlete is going to be hilarious, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm sure
it'll be fine.
You're going to have a lot more to say. But I think as well, you have that experience in motorsport and being an athlete in racing. And I guess what I can bring is an experience in the car world, but also being a woman around that. I think however you're attached to the motorsport, be it big or small, being a woman it's just slightly different. And I think it can have its negatives, don't get me wrong, but I also think it's really positive. Like it's really exciting to do something that not many people have done before.
I think it can be really powerful.
I think so. I hope so. And I hope we get to speak to a lot of women in various different sectors of motorsport and get their story and what 100%. They're trying to do.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
That is why we're here.
I know. And I'm excited. And I guess hearing people's pressure is so interesting, because any sport is built on being competitive, being sort of aggressive, having that pressure, but then understanding where exactly that comes from. Like, are you a competitive person at heart, or did you have to build on that?
I think I was always competitive. Like, I really hated, as a lot of people say, but yeah, it really annoys me. And had a bad race weekend, I would think about it overnight. And yeah, I think just that is, you've just got that naturally. I think if you then commit to a sport, I don't know how, obviously every athlete's different and they have their own way of doing it. And that's really cool which I hope we find out through their perspectives of how competitive are they, how they deal with a bad result and things like that. But yeah, I was always super competitive. I think it does just naturally come.
Yeah.
That's how you then get attracted to wanting to do a sport,
Absolutely. So. And I think it's interesting talking about competitiveness and being competitive at the moment is quite a difficult topic sometimes, because there's a lot around like toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
And there's a few traits that people don't like, which is competitiveness and aggressiveness, and sport is that perfect place for that, because it's so normal. Like, women feel it as well. You have that inner aggression, and this is the place to
it's the whole
activate
point
that
of it.
and have it out. And actually, it's like teaching men to do that and then have another side to them, but also at the same time teaching women to have the calmer side, but also let that aggression out as well. Go. Like, we've just seen the Lionesses win.
Awesome.
And everyone is celebrating how fierce they are.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to speak to other women in sport.
It's going to be super exciting. Especially for me, I'd love to hear their perspective of their journey through motorsport as a woman, because it's something I really want to understand a lot more. Obviously, I've had my journey, same as thousands of other male drivers, so it'd be really cool to get their side of it.
And also probably how much it's changed from you, because I mean, like, it wasn't even that long ago that you went through it.
No, but I think I stopped 5 years ago now, and I do think there's been a really massive positive change in the last 5 years, like huge, compared to when I stopped to now for women in motorsport.
When you were karting, how many girls would you see age 10?
I only ever saw 2 that I raced against, and they were always the same 2.
Crazy, isn't it? I wonder what it would look like now, like going to a go-karting
Probably
track.
Quite a lot more.
Maybe 5. But I think it's a slow process.
That was it. Yeah, 2. I only ever remember.
And then as well, I guess it's interesting because we talk about motorsport as in like high level Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3. But there are so many different types of racing. So many.
You have the endurance, rally.
Yeah.
The bikes, MotoGP, superbikes. There is hundreds.
So much.
So much.
That's why Quadrant's great, because we've got such a good mix of athletes like across the board. And to hear, I mean, I don't know how half of these sports work. Yeah. So I'm really excited.
That's the journey we're going on. And we want to showcase and put spotlight onto all these different motorsports and even motorsport cultures or car cultures, and just spread the word about it and create this massive community around cars, driving, racing, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That's super exciting.
That's the plan. And also to hear from you guys, like the people watching, the people listening, what you guys want to hear, what you want to see, who you want us to talk to. We'll do our best to get them on and have a chat. Now, we have a special question, don't we?
We do. This is something we're going to be doing the whole time. I don't have to look into the camera for this. So, everyone listening, on the Quadcast, we're going to be finishing each episode with the same question to every guest, no matter who they are. And that is, and I'm going to ask you this question now. What is your first memory of motorsport?
Now, I knew this question before we sat down. And what I haven't done is think of an answer. It's a great question. I'm glad we've thought of it to ask all our lovely guests. My first memory of motorsport. See, I think for me it's going to be cheating, because mine's just going to be my first memory of cars. Because to me, cars are the heart of it, and they'll always be the heart of it. But I just remember I just remember being in one of the various Land Rovers my family has had over the years. This one was black. It was called Buster, because I used to name all the cars when I was little. And it was I think it was a 110, and it had that frame like a roll cage, but sort of massive out the back. And we used to take it out in the summer. And I remember like physically playing on it like a swing when I was age sort of 2-3. Not really understanding what I was playing with, but I loved it. And for me, it was just cars meant my dad. So cars meant an opportunity to spend time with my dad, where that was you loved, like going to the shops, where that was, I've cleaned so many cars, covered them in grit, covered them in dirt with a sponge that's been dropped a million times. But if ever I was around cars, I was with my dad. So for me, that was always going to be a happy memory. And I guess I'm lucky now that I get to do that properly. I get to follow in his footsteps and kind of do what he does. So
that's awesome.
I'm going to cheat and say that's my first motorsport memory.
That's fully acceptable.
But what is yours? I'm sure you've got a good one.
My first memory of motorsport. So this was before I even went to a go-kart track for the first time. Well, this is what made me go to a go-kart track and get into racing. It was the Singapore Grand Prix 2008, and I mean, I had my own Hot Wheels at the time. I was only 9 years old. Loved cars already, as most guys do. But I remember my dad had tickets to the F1, and it was in town. Again, I was 8. I didn't really know what was going on, but I knew kind of what F1 was roughly, loud cars racing. I remember getting in the taxi, and we went to the track, and I remember getting out, opening the door, and this car flew past. Like, we got out the taxi, and it was quite close to the track. Track was just like 20 meters over there, and it was the V8s back then. The sound of it coming past, I stood up. I was like, what was that? Then we ran up to the grandstand, and I just remember the car and driver that stuck out to me the most was Lewis in the chrome McLaren with the yellow helmet. Nice. And then that was it. I was just obsessed. Lewis, I then got obsessed with Lewis, started supporting him, and that was it. That was just slowly how I got into racing, and then I went to the go-kart track, and then everything else unfolded.
That was it.
That was it. The sound, and then I spotted the chrome car with the yellow helmet. I was like, that is amazing.
That's what I want to do.
If you're out at a Grand Prix with your mates, you don't need to worry about all the maths when splitting bills. You can split bills with Revolut at the touch of a button and send them reminders if they're slow to pay you back. And if you're abroad and in need of cash, Revolut also has you covered with the no Revolut fee withdrawals worldwide at ATM within your plan allowance. And Revolut's ATM Finder feature easily shows you the nearest ATMs, and you can filter to only show the ones that are surcharge free. A huge thank you to Revolut for sponsoring this video. You can check out the link below or the QR code on screen and sign up to Revolut and get £20, $20 or 40 Australian dollars after using the card just once. I guess that brings us kind of to the end, and what's coming up next? I think
what's coming up?
We'll obviously get Lando on.
We'll probably have to get Lando on.
We'll go Quadrant athletes as well, kind of highlight their stories, go a bit deeper with them. That'd be awesome. Other F1 drivers. Yeah. I mean, every corner of motorsport we can do, even mechanics, the stories that you just don't see, that don't get highlighted over a race weekend.
Guys,
exactly.
The girls, the girls. I want to hear all of their stories. Mechanics is going to be really cool. Maybe some managers,
team
people
bosses,
that deal with strategy.
Exactly.
Really keen.
Yes.
Other F1 drivers got to be done. I'm excited. I think it's going to be really fun.
Everyone.
And we're getting these out pronto. We're going to do bi-weekly, I think.
Bi-weekly.
That's a lot. We're going to have to get good at yapping, Max.
I know, I've got to work on my hosting skills.
No,
sure.
I think we're going to be fine. No. All we need to do is yap.
That's what you've got to teach me, how to host a podcast.
I'm good at yapping. I can do that. You can bring the knowledge. I'll bring the chat.
I'll try bring some knowledge.
The guests can bring the stories.
Yeah.
And it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Next week, we've got a very special guest, Mr. Lando Norris. Thank you so much. We'll see you then.